Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel today. My name is Christian and today we're here to talk about one of the most highly anticipated records of this year. Probably the last massive record of the year. It is the 10th record from Metallica. It is titled Hardwired To Self-Destruct and it is their first record in 8 years. And honestly, I went into this record with pretty low expectations. The expectation for post-2000s Metallica honestly isn't that high. People are basically okay now with Metallica putting out just an alright record. That's what I thought Death Magnetic was. I thought it was alright. I thought it had some massive highlights, like The Day That Never Comes, but overall it was pretty average. And I mean, we don't have to talk about Saint Anger. Wait. Saint Anger doesn't exist. Shh. But I'm glad to tell you that this is the best record that Metallica have released since the Load era. This is a really strong record from Metallica, with them coming back to some of their roots, doing a lot of the things that they used to do in the past, but still experimenting and doing new things. I can't see many Metallica fans not finding enjoyment in at least some of the songs on this record. I've already seen in chat boards that people are loving the singles, so if you love those, I feel like you're gonna really enjoy this record. Hardwired opens up the record really well. It's a short and fast-paced song that really opens up the record the way a Metallica record should, and it really recalls the thrashy era of Metallica. The problem with this song though is the chorus. I don't know who told James that chorus was a good idea, but lyrically it is one of the weakest moments on the record, and for a first single and the first chorus that anybody's going to hear from this record, I don't think that was a good choice. Having said that, I can see this song being absolutely massive live. I've seen videos of it on YouTube and it does sound absolutely massive, so I can't wait to see that live myself. Atlas Rise is then next up on the record, and it's a song that has really grown on me since the first time I listened to it. For me, it's a little weak, and for my taste in music anyway, it's a little too Iron Maiden-ish. For me, I feel like they are really lending back to that Iron Maiden sound, which is something that I'm not really a fan of. And while it isn't one of my favourites on the record, I do like the old school feel of it, and that's really a vibe on this entire record. There's a real old school feel to it, and that's something that I really enjoy. Now That We're Dead is a more simple groove-driven track, which opens up with some really great drumming from Lars that really surprised me. Now, I'm not saying the drums are something phenomenal. I mean, come on. We all know that Lars does what he does well, for the most part, and this is really an example of that. He has a simple approach to drumming, and this is a simple drum pattern that really works for this track. This chorus in this song is absolutely massive, and James is on absolute fire throughout this entire song. I love the constant punch that is going on throughout this entire track, and there are some really cool guitar intricacies going on from your left and right ear towards the end of the song. The production on this record is better than Death Magnetic. It's better than really most of the Metallica records that have come out. As we know, Metallica, while the records have been great, the production hasn't been amazing, and I think the Black Album was kind of the peak of their production, and then Saint Anger was the worst, obviously, and then, to be fair, Death Magnetic sounded pretty good, but I felt like it sounded way too loud. This one's not doing that loud war that they were criticised for before, which is good. However, there are some moments where you're listening to Lars's drumming, and this is Lars's fault, but it is also the engineer's job to fix up any mistakes, and there are some kick drum patterns throughout this record where the engineer or producer should have gone in and straightened them up, made sure they were in time, and they haven't done that. And for me, being an engineer just is lazy, and I don't like that. But overall, it's a good production job, and to be honest, the vocals sound absolutely incredible throughout this entire record. Moth into Flame was the second single released from this record, and it's one of the best Metallica tracks that they've released in a long time. To be honest, Moth into Flame and The Day That Never Comes are probably the best two songs that Metallica have released post-2000. The verse melody is fucking incredible, and some of the riffs throughout this entire song are absolutely mind-blowing. I cannot wait to see this song live. I can just see it being absolutely huge, and I want them to come tour over here now so I can see it. Dream No More brings the groove back into the record. It's a very experimental track and is really sludgy. James's vocals are like something that I've never heard him do before, and I really like the vocal effect going on. It's a combination of harmonies and melody, and then this really cool effect going on that really works for what this track is going for. This is one of my favorites on the record purely because of the tone and just how the song is written, and it's just very punchy and very cool. Halo on Fire is next up, and it closes out the first half of this double record, and it does it absolutely perfectly. The soft verses are so beautiful, and James honestly puts in one of the best vocal performances of his entire career. This is the longest track on the record, and sometimes when you hear long track with Metallica, you just go, "Oh, just poor editing," but absolutely this song warrants being 8 minutes long, and it really grows and evolves throughout that 8 minutes. James's vocal performance throughout this entire record is absolutely phenomenal. He has this really weird Benjamin Button gift where his voice gets better as he gets older, and he's absolutely at his peak. He has these angry, dirty moments, he has these soft, beautiful moments, and to be honest, this record is really a showcase for how good of a vocalist that James is. The first half of this record is absolutely great, but unfortunately the second half is where we start to see some problems, and there's some old problems that seem to constantly happen on modern era Metallica records. They need to get better at editing. Some of these songs go for way too long, and on top of that, a couple of the songs on this second half of the record really contain some drumming from Lars that are questionable and should have been fixed. Confusion opens up disc 2, and it has one of the best riffs Metallica have written in fucking forever. It's one of the best riffs I've heard, period, in a long time. To be honest, I wish they'd used that riff in the verses as well, because I really feel like it would have driven the song along, but they use a different riff, which does work, but that main riff is just so big. Unfortunately, this song, though, does feel like just a collection of riffs rather than a song in itself, but the chorus is massive, and overall it's an enjoyable song that does overstay its welcome, but is enjoyable. Man Unkind is then next up, and it's a good song, although one of the weaker on the record. One of the reasons is unfortunately Lars's drumming. I feel like he could have picked a pattern that was a bit more groovy and really drove the track along a bit better, but unfortunately his drums throughout this song just feel a bit jumpy for my taste. Here Comes Revenge is then next up, and it's another thumper, and to be honest, the main riff reminds me of something that would have come off of Death Magnetic, and that's not a negative. A lot of the riffs on Death Magnetic were really good, and this is no different. The verses are once again great. The verses are the real highlights of this entire record, and James absolutely kills it, and as well as that, Lars's drumming on this track in particular really suits the song and really works. To be honest, Metallica just needs to get a producer in the studio with them that is going to tell them when their songs are getting too long. All of these songs are good, but some of them overstay their welcome by double the song length, and it just takes away from all of the quality of the songs. There are some really great riffs all the way throughout this record, and James has really outdone himself on this record. Am I Savage is then next up, and it's another groovy track that I really enjoy. It's not one of the most instant songs on the record, but overall it is a really enjoyable song. Some of the guitar work is really proggy, which I love, being a prog fan myself, and I find that really cool. Another thing I really like about this record is its surprising amount of variety. It's not just the same thing over and over again. There's a lot of different kinds of songs on this record. There's groovy songs, there's softer songs, there's thrashy songs, there's experimental songs. Really, there's gonna be something for every type of Metallica fan on this record. Murder One unfortunately feels like a bit of filler. It doesn't really do anything over its duration and really kind of just drags for the entire duration, and honestly doesn't really add much to the record as a whole. There are some good moments throughout, but unfortunately it just goes for too long once again and takes away from the record. Spit Out the Bone is the final track on this record, and it is an absolutely massive banger. I love this track. Brings back the thrash again, and is a 7-minute banger that is a perfect way to close out this record. This is once again one of James's highlights on the record, and he is the absolute standout, not only on this song, but throughout this entire record. If you love thrashy Metallica, then Spit Out the Bone is going to be the perfect song for you to listen to from this record. Overall, this is a really good record from Metallica, and it's a lot better than I expected it to be. Of course, it isn't to the same standard as their back catalogue, and we all know how legendary those records are, but it is the best Metallica record since the Load era, and to be fair, I'm happy with that. There are songs on here that I'm going to listen to over and over again. There are some songs that I'm going to skip, of course, but honestly, I just want 5 or 6 good Metallica songs again, and I feel like I got that on this record. My top 3 tracks are going to be Moth Into Flame, Spit Out the Bone, and Halo on Fire, and I'm going to give this record a 3.75 out of 5. Anyway, what did you guys think about the record? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. Did you like the record? Did you not like the record? Let's have a conversation about it down below. We're here to talk about music, so let's do that. But if you're just going to fill up the comment section with hate and insults, go ahead and do that. But just know that I'm going to laugh at how pathetic your life is. Anyway, thanks for watching my videos today. Please hit subscribe down below, and I'll see you next time. Fresh Currents.